And Millie delivered. Millie delivered. She was claimed the it girl, but now I really understand why she is that girl. She voted out Charlie, and I was really shocked because I really wanted Charlie to leave, but I'm thinking like, nah, it's not. He's not gonna leave. But Millie, this is history. It's never happened before to vote out your own couple. I love this, and let's kind of make this a thing. Like if your couple ain't giving it, you vote him out. Vote him out. No one cares. And Skull voted out AJ. I'm not really surprised because obviously he's friends with Jess and Whitney. But like, I really wanted Jess to go, but it was never going to happen. So Charlie's obviously so shocked. He's like, I didn't believe this. I thought we had a chance. Me and Millie had a thing. And first, he didn't want to speak to Millie, like F off kind of vibe. Then later, he did have a conversation with her, and she basically says, I saw the flags. They were waving. So, I kind of had to do I can't do this for me. And he was like, you didn't tell me about these red flags. And I'm like, boy, please. You know what you did. Both Jess and Millie, you were gaslighting them. You were giving toxic behavior. So AJ was obviously pissed off because she was like, it's not Friend Island, but it is. We always say it's not Friend Island every day, but it actually is. So AJ, I kind of get why she's pissed off because obviously she actually doing what she's supposed to do. It's Love Island, but it's a good back. Okay, so the girls discuss with Whitney like who does she really like, Jack or Connor. First she's like 50-50, and Leanne was like, come on girl, we know you like Jack, but he's a bit risky. And she's like, yeah, but Jack is the one she likes. And later on they were kissing. Why Connor is just like a few steps away. Millie, please. Like, we're praising you in the beginning of the episode. Now, don't go too far. Don't do too much. Because now she's saying, Scott is my type. And I'm thinking, like, girl, you never mentioned this at all. When that man was standing up for you, you were with Charlie doing my man. Basically saying, like, Scott is full of shit. And now, all of a sudden, when you saw that he's the favorite boy, she kind of did 2+2. Because she's like, Scott is the favorite boy. The guy with his least favorite. That means that Scott is saying the truth and the public can see. So you 2+2 together, favorite boy, favorite girl, it means they're going to win. She's very just calculating these things. And Scott has said Millie is his type. I mean, everybody like Millie. Millie is that girl. But it's Love Island, you can get to know anyone you want. So if Scott goes for Millie, he never really liked Leanne, but we'll let her do what she gotta do. So she's basically telling both Kieran and Sammy. And Kieran pissed me off all through the damn 2 episodes because he was rooting for Scott to get to know Millie. Like, he even spoke to Scott and said, Millie told me that you're her type, all these things. And he basically says he's open to it, but he's kind of good with Leanne for now. Can you leave Scott and Leanne alone, please, Kieran? Please. So Whitney and Belle, they're having a conversation, and she's basically like, you like SHAQ, have a conversation with him. Who's Helena? The disrespect. They don't care for Helena. Anyway, so Belle goes into the middle of conversation when SHAQ and Helena were having they were having a conversation. She basically called him for a chat in the secret garden. And nothing really happened there. Like, they had a conversation and they were like, let's not do too much out of respect for Helena. In the midst of that conversation, Belle basically says she prays every damn day. Every second she is praying. And I'm thinking, like, I don't see the clips. But and she's always like, she's looking for a God-fearing man. And I'm thinking, like, in Love Island. And all of a sudden, SHAQ has changed his tone. Like, he's looking for a Christian girl. And I'm thinking, like, why are we lying to ourselves? Well, that's Scott and Leanne, they're going on a cute date. Like, it was cute, good for them. The fact that Whitney was like, who's Connor? But then sometimes it does happen that you kind of forget if you're not good with names. Thank God it wasn't there. Thank God it wasn't there, but who's Connor basically proved like she don't like that man at all. If you don't remember him, and she's even coupled up with him. It was funny, but thank God it wasn't there. It was the first part of the episode. We're happy for like 2 seconds, and then everything went downhill in the final scene. So they're playing the game Never Have I Ever, and I've never seen the game go this far. Like, it's never this deep. Starts off with Belle. She's weird. Like, why did they force her to kiss Sean? And I'm sure she didn't even mind anyway. Even Sean is confused. So the fact that Millie forgot Charlie's name, she basically called Charlie Connor. The drama really started with the question, never have I ever kissed someone outside of my couple. And obviously we know who's been doing it. And Elena basically said, SHAQ is for the streets. And I don't really agree much with Elena, but she was right. Basically said he's for the streets. And it's like, if I'm for the streets, why do you still want me? And she kind of had nothing to say. But it's 2 straight facts. Then it escalated to him saying that, out of respect for you, I didn't even kiss Belle. I don't think she's really convinced. And Whitney came in. Whitney. Can you not remember, based on the previous game that they were doing, where they were saying like, she's playing a game with Jack and everybody ganged up on her. It's like, girl, have you learned? Sometimes you just gotta sit down and keep it cool, not do too much. I feel like she's not even bought into. She just left it alone. So she was like, nah, nah, nah. Like, the only reason you didn't kiss is because of Belle. Shaq was like, no, like, it was a mutual decision. Like, what are you saying? And she said, oh, okay, sorry, that's not the facts that I heard. And she was winking at Belle. And now he's pissed off that he surely knows that was a mutual decision. Like, what are y'all doing? And Belle explained that, we had a conversation prior, but, I didn't kind of give her the details of what really happened in the secret garden. I feel like Belle should have should have updated her, but she made it clear in the sit-in that they didn't kiss and it was a mutual decision, but Whitney was not aware of it. It should have ended there once Belle has clarified it. Something about Whitney, everything's charges. Like, girl, let's not charge it. Just say exactly what you want to say. She's basically saying charge it so she won't kind of express her feelings, but it's getting too much. Everything charge it. But anyways, one thing we need to charge is this argument. We should have charged the whole argument and call it a day. But it wasn't charged. The more she's saying charge it, it's not charging. SHAQ was like, no, the only thing we need to charge is you giving misinformation. You need to get the accurate facts before you start charging unnecessary things. And that's where everything escalated. She's like, why are you being egotistic? Like, why are you doing too much? I don't get it. Like, I feel like there's something else going on behind the scenes. It's either one thing, it's either SHAQ has beef with Whitney, both Whitney and Leon, after what it did to him in the first episode, because they didn't come for him because of, they're friends with Tanya and everything, and he was standing there looking like a fool. So I feel like he has he has a little bit, he has some beef with them. And another thing is that when Scott came in and he picked both SHAQ and Sean as, the no good people, SHAQ made a comment and said Scott has been around Whitney a lot. And Whitney's like, what's that supposed to mean? Honestly, what's that supposed to mean? Because Scott is Scott. Like, he has nothing to do with Whitney. Scott has always been, he's always been a messy man. That's what Scott is. He has nothing to do with Whitney. I feel like he has beef with Whitney from the damn beginning. Like, it's nothing new. So with this whole game thing, there's more to it than the game. So the next question asked by Kieran is, never have I ever forgot someone's name? And Jess is literally calling out Whitney. You say like you're the one, and she basically drunk and said, yeah, I forget names. Like, it is what it is kind of vibe. One thing about Jess, she did not read the room. She did not read the room that Whitney was. She's not ready for jokes anymore. She's already pissed off from the previous conversation with SHAQ. So she should have read the body language. She read it, but she continued on saying Whitney. And Whitney is pissed off. Whitney kind of had no choice but to say names. Rather than saying Connor, she kind of listed everybody's name. And she just continued. It's like, oh my God. Like, and then she's like, girl, are you my friend? Are you really my friend? And like, I kind of get why Whitney didn't want to say it. Like, come on. Like, Connor's right there. It was very disrespectful. Like, Connor is already, it's not looking good for Connor anyway, but it would be disrespect to say you forgot his name. So I feel like Jess should have read the room. Should I get why Whitney's kind of acting like that? It's like, no. She even gave her the cut eyes. She even gave her the eyes to let her know. And she continues saying Whitney. And everybody's like, why are you calling Whitney? And she basically says, well, Whitney's looking at me some kind of way. And she's like, yeah, I'm looking at you that way to let you know that you're out with me. You're doing too much. Like, are you really my friend? And she's like, girl, it's a joke. Like, your stories are funny. It's a joke. It's like, well, Jess, is not a joke anymore. Like, Whitney has given hints 3 damn times. 3 times she's given hints. The body language has been there for you to read, but you failed to do so. So it's like, yeah, she was wrong. Like, are you really a friend? Jess, like, you could clearly tell she didn't want time for jokes. Not every day we do jokes. And then we have Jack there being team furniture. Like, all this man does is ask for kisses, but no action, nothing to defend Whitney. But then it's like, are we really surprised? I mean, we saw from the previous game that they had when everybody was ganging up on Whitney, Jack was sitting there like team furniture. Jackney is non-existent. It's done. Okay, so we got Scott basically says he doesn't feel that guilty for voting out AJ because SHAQ already got the X, so it feels less guilty. And SHAQ was confirmed, like, yeah, I was starting to get the egg because she was all upon me. She was doing too much. After one day that they were covered up together, after that night, he said no. He said no that she was doing too much. I'm thinking, like, straight facts what Sammy said. AJ has been very consistent. She's always all upon you. Since the day she came in, she was you know, she was pressing. She was doing too much. But that's how she is. And Sammy basically says, but you like that. Like, you literally told us that you loved how she was all upon you in the secret garden. So what changed? Like, how is that the ick? It doesn't really make sense. And then we have Whitney coming in, basically said that's her character, like that's who she is, that's not an ick. It basically makes no sense why everybody's arguing. AJ is gone. She's not even here no more. But Whitney's fighting for AJ, basically saying that's her character, is not an ick. And we have SHAQ basically saying like she never said her character was an ick. And at the same time, we got Kieran basically says, I got a back SHAQ, I got a back SHAQ. And Whitney's pissed off saying that you always back SHAQ. And I'm thinking, like, if Kieran is backing SHAQ, so is that his friend? Let him back SHAQ. We got SHAQ basically saying, like, what's the big deal? Like, why you shot at Kieran? And I'm thinking, like, when did Whitney shout out Kieran? One thing about Whitney's voice is kind of stays the same. Like, her voice is really hard to be raised. She was not shouting at Kieran. But one thing is, you can tell by, her voice that she's annoyed with the whole damn thing. She's annoyed with everybody. Then we got Kieran doing too much, also raising his voice, saying that, what's wrong with that? Straight facts. There's nothing actually wrong with it. So that aspect, I guess, I get. Stick up for your friend, do what you gotta do, but we don't need to raise the voice and say the girl was raising her voice when she was not. Whitney basically tells the girls, Millie and Leanne, like, guys, analyze the way SHAQ is talking to me and the way he's talking to Sammy. There's a difference. He's annoyed with you. So obviously his voice will be different. Why Sammy's they got no beef. But with you and SHAQ, there's beef there. There's previous beef, hidden beef that the audience don't know about, that ain't nobody there know about. The scar also was silence. It's crickets. I feel like he doesn't even know where to come in because it's like they're friends. Both SHAQ and Whitney are friends. Maybe they could sort this out later or something. So I feel like that's why he didn't kind of bought in. Leanne, I get Leanne. I get Leanne because she got the whole backlash in her season as well. But in the previous season, she wasn't nice. She was not nice. She was very mean to that man. So she stayed silent. Then we have Millie basically saying she wants to go to the toilet. Like, everybody doing too much. I gotta go to the damn toilet. And Whitney basically says, I'm gonna go with you. So now it's looking like Whitney and Millie are just leaving, but it's for a total different reason. And also, Winnie just wants to escape. She wants to leave everybody all upon her, everybody annoying her. And Belle basically said, I'm out too. That's a good friend. Like, that's a good friend. Belle tried. She tried. Unlike Jess, who's still sitting there. Like, girl. Next question. And then we have SHAQ after Whitney leaves. Then they start talking to his audience. They start talking to his minions, saying that, why does Whitney feel like everybody's targeting her? You were targeting her. And the fact that you're announcing it to everyone to make her look like the bad guy, you know what you're doing. You're playing for the screens and you're playing for everybody there. And basically tells everybody that, Whitney's trying to throw me under the bus with the whole Helena and Belle thing, wanting Elena to feel bad. Basically saying that Whitney is the one, she's the one creating the drama. She's the one trying to misinform everybody that he was doing the most with Belle. And it's like, come on now, boy, based on your previous action, you were kissing both AJ and Elena. And when you said that you weren't gonna kiss anybody no more, you still did it, and you said you didn't feel guilty about it. So please, all this trying to look like the good guy is not working. The propaganda is not working for me. It's really not. Whitney is going to assume that you wanted to kiss Belle because that's been your character since day one. There's something there. There's something else there outside of the game because I don't really understand what's going on here. He's basically painting Whitney as the bad girl, but she's not. She just got the wrong info and it wasn't her fault. But I feel like Whitney, from now on, just keep it cutesy. Just keep it cutesy, relax, enjoy your holiday. Enjoy your holiday, or you can just decide that you want to leave. Like, we still with you.